Good evening, everyone, and thank you for turning up for this evening session, which I intend to make my last big session. The other sessions I'll be having from now on will be smaller sessions, but I'll take a break in between this lecture here to talk about the peer teams, so we can have everybody be on the same page with it. All right. So we're looking this evening at creating educational videos and audios. This is part of the content creation aspect of the learning transfer workshop. The first two kind of focus on curriculum development. This one here is more content development, but you know, content development and curriculum development are interlinked. You can't have one without the other. Everybody hearing me? Okay. Oh, it takes so long. I thought I would have my mic mute. Yeah. So I mean, you can't have one, and without the other. And so we started with the taxonomy in terms of adding the kind of structure and understanding. Then we went on to the cognitive load theory that gave us some insight into how we can improve what we do. You know, how we can make learning better or more possible or clear path that you want your students. And the goal is for your students to learn, ain't it? That's the goal. The goal is not for us to teach so much, but the goal is for them to learn. Therefore, the cognitive load theory gives us some insight into this. And those two things combined are very powerful tools in your toolkit to really capturing your students and opening the doors and the windows of learning to them, passing on to them all the necessary resources that they can learn. And you're the one that is preparing the way. You're the one with the course outline. You're the one with how you teach. And therefore, but the notes and the videos are in the classroom, and therefore have at it. There are some things I may not have gone through. You can go back over, so it's there. This is a heavy session. When I say heavy, I did a lot of work on it, but I can't go through everything I've done. So the notes again will be lodged in the classroom. I think I put your stuff in the learning transfer. No, I think I broke out forums for each of the webinars, not to congest, and even this one is probably congested already. And I don't put things willy-nilly into the forums. I put things that I have reviewed and say, yeah, this is important, this is useful, this will give you some guidance. So I put some videos in there, and there's going to be some video material and some links to websites and so on that I want you to check out on your own. All right, creating educational videos and audios. There's the same notice I've had up ever since Adam was a boy. So when we finish the modification, I would have meetings with the HODs and make the recommendations to them as to what the changes can be. And I'm sure they will welcome this kind of input from their lecturers. All right. I want you to see your time with me is just not you fulfilling a requirement of Cipriani or you improving. It's about you improving your teaching skills. And I keep saying over and over again, your teaching skills, when you improve it, they are your teaching skills. They don't belong to the college. They're your teaching skills. So you're developing you. All right. And I know some people, we spoke about things, and I know, you know, in terms of areas that you operate in, it may not be the best, and you feel that maybe they're asking too much, but in this session here, I want to develop your skills, and your skills can be your skills until the day you die. They can be your skills to use and to pass on. All right. An educational video. So there are two types. People differentiate in educational in these kind of videos. They have the educational videos, and they have the instructional videos. The educational video is media that's used to educate someone on a specific topic or collection of topics. They say instructional videos are more how-to training videos. more typically focus on teaching skills or skill sets. But for the purposes of our discussion, as we go forward, we see them as, I don't make a distinction between them. Educating and illustration, instructional, I see them as basically the same thing. So I'm not going to try and make any distinction between them. We are creating educational videos. We're trying to educate our student population in the core subject matter that we are teaching. Now, why are these videos important? And they are more or less, you see what I'm referred to as on-demand video learning. That's another phrase that kind of covers it, on-demand video learning. You understand that? It's on-demand, you do it on demand. I mean, as the person wants it, it's available for them to learn. So you have what we call pre-recorded education videos. They can watch lessons or lectures at their own schedule. They can consume as much or as little as they want. Students can go back and rewatch or review content as needed. It's great for studying, in preparation for assessments. For students who just need a little more time to consider and to absorb content. So videos, educational videos that you prepare for your student because it's specific to your course, they are a great benefit to students. It allows them to better interact with the course content, and sometimes you can put a link to a quiz at the end of the video that they can use to go and do a quiz based on the video they've just watched. When you get to the yellow lecture videos and so on. So there are ways to use a video just beyond there looking at it. You can make it part of an assignment. So they can, at the end, they have quizzes you can embed directly in the video. So you put up the link and they copy down for the video. Copy the link, go on the drive, and they can get access to the quiz. You can also, by that way, also measure their engagement. They're watching the video, have they engaged in the videos. It gives you some little analytics about your students and how they're approaching the video. You may put a question at the end of the video, which you're supposed probably to answer within the classroom itself. So then you can by this method, you can also assign points to students for actually watching the video and paying attention to what they're watching. It's scalable in that the content can go anywhere. Now, why they say students have a liking and a preference? Why do they prefer? Why do students prefer? And educators as well. Some educators prefer educational videos. There's a lot of flexibility in it. It's easily scalable. A video can be watched by one person or 10,000 people or a million people. I'm sure you've been on TikTok, you've been on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and you see that you've seen 1 million views. Yeah, so it's scalable. You're not going to lose your voice. And you can go back and you can refine the content in a video. You can do it all over again. You can revise the video, improve the content. And the students, there's no restriction on location, a time of instruction. So we have expanded into the region. So we are an international organization. And therefore we have people in the region and hopefully people beyond the region soon enough. That if the time doesn't mesh, they can catch the video later on, and they can instruct themselves in a totally asynchronous manner. Yeah, that will work beautifully where all the resources are there, and they can have at it. Like what I'm doing in the SET-22 course now, it's totally asynchronous. There are no synchronous sessions. All the material is there, and so people are encouraged to determine their schedule. Determine how they want to get through it, and I decided that's the way I want to go, more or less in that regard. Content gets extended in a video because it can be watched over and over again. So you may put some subject matter, a topic in your class, but a video helps to extend, open it up, and people don't have to, they can go back and listen to your voice, listen to your explanation, and so on. It's very motivating, they say, for students to engage in course content with the instructors. They engage in the course content with the instructors and their peers. You can reuse the content in courses to come. I mean, there are videos that I've seen prepared that haven't changed because the content hasn't changed. And so you're running, and I think I made this point last year when we were dealing with video recording, that if you're a preference, I think you might prefer to be a movie star actor than a Broadway actor, where you're not delivering the same thing every night, but you're packaging some of that in the video, and therefore you don't have to deliver everything every night. But for one course, the next the video is there. You do a course outline for whatever 100. Next semester you're teaching whatever 100 again. The videos are all there, ready to go. None of you're teaching brain surgery or neuroscience or nuclear science, anything, so that it's going to be changing that quickly. So yeah, your video is going to last a long time. And video lectures are useful in online, in blended, and in even face-to-face. In face-to-face courses. So it serves a lot of purposes. There's some common types of educational videos. We practice lecture capture recordings, which are lecture recordings, lecture capture. We do that, and we make it available to the students because that is one of the greatest benefits of online learning. It's one of the transformational aspects of the technology, that students do not necessarily have to be a seat in your class in order to learn, because the lecture capture is there for them to learn at their convenience. That's one of the things that online learning provides, is flexibility and convenience. And we have to allow that to work for us, and that will drive people to online learning and drive people to college, because of the flexibility and the convenience of an online course. You will know the horrors of trying to get to the campus for 5 o'clock to teach a class. For students, and I'm sure you've seen your students crawling in after 6 because, and you can see the traffic outside there. Trinidad's not an easy place to navigate on. Well, any time of the day as far as I'm concerned. I don't know where people working that they're on the road all the day with brand new cars. I don't understand that. I mean, all hours a day you'll see people with highways full of cars, brand new cars, and these people, what are their jobs they're doing that they can afford brand new cars and driving all day long? I don't know. I don't really want to have the answer. They have videos. You can do introductory videos. You can do course, module, navigation, go through the syllabus with them, videos that will take them through that. They have assignment videos where you can discuss the assignment, do a demonstration of the assignment, and also you can do feedback. You can provide feedback. If you want to provide general feedback to your class on the assignment, you can do a quick video that gives feedback to the general assignment. If there was projects as well, you can give project feedback to groups, so you don't have to do it. So as you correct the project, you jump on, you do a quick video, show them where they went wrong, and you send the video to them. And if you have a new topic to present, you can do a video for that. If you want to do a tutorial video, those of you who have subjects that have that kind of require more tutorial type activities, a video that goes through a tutorial, goes through a work example, really helps students. And you also want to do a training. There are also training videos as well. Those people in the OSH that need to train in different aspects. How to use a fire extinguisher, how to put out a fire, how to climb a wall. I don't know what they do now. You can do training videos where you demonstrate certain things to them and stuff like that. And also to understand that videos can work in the opposite direction, where students can use videos as an assignment submission. So you could go either way. So don't limit the video technology. So the teaching aspect or the learning aspect It also can be used in terms of a method of assignment, of assessment, producing a video. We have styles of videos, a screencast video, is a quick informal video composed of a screen recording designed to perform a task, to teach somebody to perform a task or to share knowledge. And I've done screencast videos, quite a bit of them. They have animated videos where you create the content with original designs of drawings, illustrations. You know, animation is. They have animated videos. There's one I came across when I couldn't sleep a night a year ago, and I can't find it now because it was the simplest thing to create. I have to really find that tool and pass it on to the lecturers. I found this thing while on the phone one night. You know, you can't actually be all over the people's internet. And I found this animation tool, free to use. And therefore, I determined how many characters I wanted. And to test it, I went into a chat I was having with somebody on my WhatsApp chat. And on my phone, not my laptop, on my phone, I copied and pasted the conversation from the chat into that video, alternating me and the other person, and created the video. And the video and the animation was done where the person they wasn't speaking the words, but the words, you know, they have the little box down for the words. I was able to recreate a portion of my chat. I had someone, and I sent it to the person, and they were amazed. I said, "No, this took me about 5 minutes to do." In my bed one night, lying down on my cell phone to create an animated video. And I don't know if I lost it, but I have to find that site. It was so simple though. I think there's something you can do a little work on that. We have also explainer videos. They have presentation. I do a lot of explainer as well. In my and mostly I don't have never probably visit the distance learning unit YouTube channel. I have a channel, and all the explainer videos I've done when you all started with Google Classroom. I would explain how to do different things, how to submit assignments, how to create, how to do this, how to do that. So those are explainer videos. Presentation videos, if you're making a presentation and you have a screen at the side of you, and you've seen videos like this with a whiteboard, but that's more like an external camera, and they're filming themselves on a camera and doing a presentation with slides going and that kind of stuff. And they're what you call micro videos, where they're short instructional videos that focus on teaching a single narrow topic. And those, I think, are very, very useful, because if you're teaching and you find this concept, it needs a bit of explanation, because you have some concepts you come across in your field and requires a bit of more in-depth explanation. I think a video that covers that kind of explanation will really help your students, because one, they can play it back. They don't have to scroll back through the session recording to find it. You can do, if you're going through your work preparing for a semester, you say, this is going to be a little tough for the students, or every semester they struggle with it. Let me do a video that breaks this down, where they can go back and do it and get a better understanding. What makes an educational video a good video? Well, the number one reason is on your screen there. Engaging students. Engaging students. A great educational video is like a great in-person lesson, a one-on-one lesson. You have to keep them listening and engaged in what you're saying. You have to connect with the student, engage the student. One of the ways to do that is to inject your personality into your video. Let some of you don't be a I don't know if you ever watch TikTok, and these TikTok's one of the apps that have it, where they have a kind of voice that is not the person's voice, and it can be very annoying to listen to that kind of AI voice. But if you get the person speaking their own content rather than having it being played by the AI, it's a different kind of feel you get from a video. So So you want to have to inject some of your personality into your video, and that engages the student as well. They know your voice, they submit your voice. And if you're not a good speaker, and not everyone's a good speaker, you can find somebody who has a wonderful, engaging voice, and they can be your voice on a video. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mr. King,
yes.
If I may.
Yes, you may, Steve. An example, Steve, you'll be here for the whole week. In terms of what? What specifically you want an example of?
No, when you say inject your personality.
Yeah.
Into things.
All right. Am I not a good example of injecting my personality into what we're doing here? I mean, I try. Am I not connected? Do I have your attention?
I don't want to take that. I don't want you to take that.
No. I'm asking a simple. Do I have your attention?
Yes.
Right. So am I speaking in a way that grabs your attention, keeps your attention? Am I speaking monochrome? You ever hear one of those AIs do a voiceover for you? A little too much. But the way we speak, Steve, we can speak. I can read this. There are many ways to ensure educational videos are engaging, but perhaps the most important way is to ensure you inject your personality. Did that song as well? I have personality in that?
No, it doesn't.
Right, and that.
You were just reading from a script.
Yeah, and that is what could happen in some videos. That's what they want you to avoid. That's why I want you to avoid just reading the script. Use your tone, use your voice, let them see your smile or in your voice. Let your voice be a happy voice, a cheerful voice, an encouraging voice. Inflect. Be a teacher even when you're doing a video recording, an audio recording. Let your teacher's voice, that concern you have for them. I mean, this is for your students, so you could interject a little humor in it, to get them to get the idea, to encourage them to do the work, encourage them. Well, soon enough, I'll see what you do. And we'll look at that. Yeah? So make them excited about the material. Explain the material in a way, do the video in a way that really you try to get to what they don't know and try to bring what they don't know to the screen for them. Your voice, what you use, the pictures that you use on your presentation, all those things help to inject some of your personality and to bring a clear understanding. We spoke about quizzes before as engagement activities, interactive quizzes. You can give a task at the end of the video that you can send them off to do some research and come back with an answer the following week. All these are things. Remember we spoke about, was it you were speaking to, boy? I can't remember speaking to. When we first started back in 2020, I'd recommended that lecturers not be engaged in 3 hours of screen time, but they can use one of the hours. They can use one of the hours to do an activity. And I always believe that you don't need to teach for 2 hours. I mean, that's a lot of screen time. So one of the things you can do is that you leave them with a video to go watch, and you interject a question for them to go and do some research and come back with an answer, which makes up like an hour, which they can do immediately or they could do during the course of the week. So you can interject some things into your teaching, into your session, that with the aid of videos, with the aid of that kind of media. All right. Yeah, we know that people have very short attention spans, yeah, and they say that attention spans are basically shrinking. I think technology has made it difficult for people to read a whole chapter. The attention spans are shrinking, they say. And we figure sometimes if I do a long video, I can lose people. But research has shown that the number one reason that people stop watching a video has nothing to do with the video length. And this research done by TechSmith shows that 83% of people in this survey will continue to watch a video because they are genuinely interested in the topic. All right, at the top there, genuinely interested in the topic. 83%, this research brought out. So once your video is engaging, your students will stay with you. Okay, but I'll get on to other reasons why we need to watch the time. If you want to keep your audience engaged, you want to consider a couple of things. Who is my audience? What problem are they trying to solve? What are their goals? What will they need from me to accomplish? Do I have a thing on this? No, I don't. Accomplish these goals. What are their skill levels? So when you've done that, the audience, the problem, the goals, for me to accomplish, and the skill levels, you then figure out what's the goal of this video, what is the outcome I want from this video. And the second question you must try to figure out is how to address them in the most effective and efficient way. That is how you begin tackling. So we look at the question of length of a video. And people say short is better, and again, yes, a short video can work, but it doesn't mean a longer video cannot work. So you have to have the right mix. There's some videos you need a little longer to go to make sure you explain that right down to the nitty-gritty, that people can walk and say, aha, I understand. And sometimes you don't need that length of time to explain something, and you use a shorter video to do it. You're not really trying to replicate your in-class lesson in a video. That's not what we're doing. You have your video capture. Yeah, you have that, and students can go back and look at what you have lectured on. But you can't lecture on everything in the detail you want. Maybe you want to give them something to think about before the lecture comes along, so they can get a video on the topic to begin preparing themselves for the lecture, to make the lecture a little easier for them to digest. Now, because the Screencast-O-Matic, which is the tool I use, the software I use, gives you about 15 minutes free, 15 minutes of recording time free on the free version. You have to pay a cent. And so that I found is a great way of saying, hey, 15 minutes is a good time to do a video. Now you can take a topic or a couple topics and break it up into more than one video. So bear that in mind as well. Now, the interconnectivity in what we're doing here, you have to keep in mind in making videos, you have to keep in mind what we discussed last week. What we discussed last week? Cognitive load is what we discussed last week. And you want to make sure that your video is not which kind of cognitive load. Or let me simplify the question. It's a revision. Which cognitive load you want to improve upon with a video? Anybody can answer. Oh my. Is my mic on? Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. No one will take a stab at it. We discussed cognitive load theory last week. Did we do that last week? Were you here last week for cognitive load theory? Yes? No? Right? So which cognitive load you want to avoid? Anyone?
Intrinsic.
Is there another one?
Is it the extraneous?
And extraneous. Yes. You want to improve. Thank you. I thought my mic was off for a minute. I just really killed it. I thought I keep honestly, I keep checking to make sure I'm on. So you want to increase the germane load with your video and not increase the intrinsic and the extraneous cognitive load. So you want to make sure those things, so see how everything fits together. And in terms of how you think about videos, you also want to keep in mind your Bloom's taxonomy from lower order thinking to higher order thinking. So you want to make your presentation, the taxonomy works right throughout your teaching practice. From what you write to what you say to how you assess, you want lower order to higher order building upon these skills in your students. So your video must take that kind of a progression as well. Now, another survey done by Tech Smith, look at the lengths of time, preferred length of videos. And this survey says that, what does it say? They kind of recommend instructional videos be less than 20 minutes, which is great. And they said, but the preference is towards 3 to 6 minutes. Between this here, see? If you combine these two, this is over 50, great, more than 50%. More like 62%. You add these two for here. They are instructional videos in formation. Between 3 and 6 minutes is the sweet spot for the preference of learners. 3 and 6 minutes. They're an education institution or a learning institution, and they say they look over 50 videos, 50 tutorial videos, and they found that the average length of a tutorial video is about 3.13 minutes. Yeah, that sounds harder than you would think. 3.13 minutes. Next slide I have up here. Another study they did. They looked at video viewer habits, trends, and statistics. 50% of people referred a video length between 3 to 6 minutes. The next highest preferred video length was 10. They preferred this, 3 to 6 minutes. The next highest was 10 to 19 minutes. Remember I said, if you get your point across within 3 to 6 minutes, you're great. If you require a longer time to make sure the learning is done, between 10 to 19 minutes is also not a bad length to end up in. A bad section to end up in, because that is where the sweet spots are the highest, 22% each. 22% each. So if you use this wisely, this length of video, and you use this one wisely, your students can't complain. Okay? Now, what we have to remember in developing videos, what is the most important thing about a video? What's the most important thing about a video? Your video. What makes the video interesting? What's the number one interest in a student watching a video? To hear your beautiful voice? What's the number one thing they're interested in?
The information.
The content. Thank you, Shirley. Content. Content is king when it comes to learning. So in a video production, content, you can have the fanciest video, the most dramatic video, but if you're not giving the student the content they're looking for, they're not receiving that. So don't focus so much on how long I should make my video. Focus on what content, what do my students need to know, and how can I best cover this topic in the most efficient and useful way. Them is the questions you have to answer, not the length, but the content. The content should inform the length of the video. If you have an intricate problem that you really can't break up and it must go through, therefore you have to ensure you may have to go a little longer to the 10-minute frame or 11-minute frame, but make sure that it's achieving the goal you set out to achieve. Don't be so concerned with the time, achieve the goal for the student. The student will welcome that. So you want to focus on the topic. Yes, sir. But yes, I mean, we didn't get to that part yet, but you actually going to start with a script. And your script will tell you how long this video is going to take, because you can actually time the script. Yeah?
Because the reason why I say that, if you look at the culture now, videos are getting shorter and shorter because
shrinking attention span. Yeah, shrinking attention span. But you'll still watch a whole movie for 2 hours in cinema, and otherwise cinemas can make millions of dollars. So, you know, your entertainment level has to be pretty high, yes, and to watch something 2 hours. But yeah, when you see, as I said, content determines the length of a video. Good night, Rhonda. Thank you for joining us. Content determines the length of the video. So if you look at your content, say I've laid out the content here and say, you know what, this could be tough going. So of course some concepts are difficult to get across. And maybe the student can't have it all in one go. Let me break it into 2 sections or 3 sections and give them part 1, part 2, and part 3. That's fine. What you want is give them what they need and do it effectively and useful. Those are your guiding principles in creating a video. Not the length. Effectiveness, usefulness, and providing the means to the outcome. And again, your videos should connect back to the learning outcomes of the course, the learning outcomes of the module. There must be a connection there, everything. Education is about alignment. You're aligning from your objectives right down to assessment. In between will be your activities and your instructional materials or your content. So you have to focus, when you're thinking about your content and preparing your content, you want to focus on probably a single topic or a selection of topics that they directly related to video length and engagement. Don't be meandering. Don't do too much. Don't overdo the video. Don't jump from one topic to the next without any kind of connection taking place there. And you're all over the shop, like I'll be sometimes when I teach them all this. Okay? So if you're meandering a bit, you kind of lose the students because you're backtracking on things and going forward, and you want to have some order and some discipline in how you relate the topic. Again, build lower order to higher order on your videos as well. Make sure you have a clear outcome of the video, a clear learning outcome. At the end of watching this video, my students shall be able to, and you must be clear what they're able to, and take them to that point with your video. Just like your learning outcome, just like your content, just like your teaching, clear outcome. When I start to teach, this is what I want you all to know. By the time you finish the session tonight, you will have a fairly good understanding of creating pre-recorded videos, podcast audios, and using, some bits of PowerPoint. But as my goal, to have a clear outcome in what we're doing here. You want to focus on the first one? Focus on the topic, center on your students' needs. What do they need? Yeah. Any and all learning content, video otherwise, is to be centered on your students' needs. Also, consider what your students need to know to be successful in achieving the learning outcome. How is this lecture video, how is this video going to add to my students achieving the learning outcomes? Again, we're still revolving around curriculum development. Cognitive load and content development, they're all intertwined. They're not 3 separate things we're doing here. It's all coming together for one. And very importantly, equally as important, avoid what they don't need. Avoid, when you give them things that they don't need, what are you adding to, Derwin? So much, what they don't need is intrinsic, or is that the extraneous?
Extraneous, yes.
Yes, the extraneous cognitive load. Don't give them things they don't need. All right, everybody say good night. So when you come on to talk to me, forget the good night. Everybody is good night to everybody. I've said good night for all of you. Good. Right. You don't want to add to the extraneous load. Give them exactly what they need. Consider how they will consume content. Will they be on a computer, a mobile, will they listen to a song or rely on visual aspects? Think of how your students learn, how they will interact with the content. Again, don't try too much. Know what they need. Determine how you're going to address it and plan your video accordingly. The same way you plan your lessons, you plan your video. You cannot share all your content and all the knowledge you may have. So when you're creating a video, create a video to address a specific problem or topic and nothing more. Don't go rambling on or meandering down the yellow brick road. If you want to share more of your knowledge, create another video to share more of your knowledge. But keep your knowledge centered on the student's need. Keep that video centered on the need of the student. How do you get and keep your audience attention? One, be interesting. You can use storytelling techniques depending on your course. You want to have an engaging speaker do it for you, somebody with a lovely voice that will engage your attention. You want to do a voiceover, somebody do a voiceover of your video. So, and make sure it's boring. A lot of topics that we teach are very boring. I know education is the most boring topic. So I keep changing the tone of my voice to keep you all awake. So you all don't drift off to the kitchen and, leave me here by myself. That I'm sure you did just now when I couldn't get an answer to anybody. You must have an interesting, must try to make this thing interesting because education is very boring as a subject matter. And I guess you have boring topics too in your courses. So you got to make it little take the dryness out of it. Again, add your personality. Let them know you're a real person speaking. What also makes videos interesting is real life experience. Examples you have from your life or other people's life, or even the life of a student who gives you permission to share an example of their, get permission so that you can share something real life and good visuals that help them learn. So the next topic here, the next item on my list could be what? Be funny, right? Because they have good visuals in front of you. Be funny and entertaining. You can use humor as a great asset to keep them engaged because they're your students. You're not doing a video for a bunch of strangers. And even you go on YouTube and you watch educational videos, some are very dry, some are very cut and dry. They're in front of a whiteboard and they're going along as though they're in a death march. There's some people who do educational videos and they're very entertaining. They have some humor in it. Makes you smile, makes you laugh, but it makes you listen and keeps you listening. But be aware, and I'll sound a little warning here, we have international students. And what you think may be good Trini humor and Trinidad humor, take it from someone who's lived out of Trinidad, born and bred here, but lived out of Trinidad for many years and come back. Trust me, people don't understand Trini humor. They just get offended. Even now. Even people who have known me for 30-something years. They just can't take some of my jokes. So they say that joke is insulting. But I say, but that's how we do it in Trinidad. We make jokes of things that are serious. We call it pecan. So what would be funny in Trinidad context may not transfer well in another island or internationally. So be careful how we use humor and how we express ourselves. And what's the last point I'm about to make? Everybody knows already. Use plain language. Plain language when you're developing your script. Don't use language terminology or jargon that is unfamiliar to your student audience. Don't get highfalutin and using big words and long drawn out sentences because you figure it on video. Other people might say you want to sound like a scholar. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to come across as pompous or just don't come across as confusing to them. Use the common language you use in your class use it in a way that they're easy to understand. Yeah, use plain language when you're doing your educational video, so you will understand. You're not presenting to a group of scholars in some sort of conference or something. You're presenting to students who don't know an oomph of what you know. And research, they say, has suggested that quality video, video quality rather, I'm reading backwards, so dyslexic. Video quality was not a common reason for viewers to stop watching a video. They say in a survey that was done, only 5% of viewers listed poor video quality as the main reason they stop watching a video. If your video quality ain't that hot, ain't that good, don't figure nobody ain't gonna watch it. If your content is great, if you're interactive, you're engaging, yeah, they're gonna watch it. Now when you're settling down now and say, okay, we get to the point, we gotta make a video. How are we making a video? Well, you know I'm gonna tell you. I ain't gonna let things down. You start with a plan. You make a plan. Like anything in life, well, most things in life, you make a plan. As I noted, I guess a lot previously, every educational video should have a learning outcome. And if you want to state the learning outcome at the beginning of the video, that's great. But again, make sure it aligns with the module and aligns with the core subject outcomes. Don't go in a different direction. Because again, education is structure and building upon structure, foundation going up, building a skyscraper. Right. Once you know what your video should accomplish, create a plan that does exactly and only that. Once you've determined the learning outcome for your video, create a plan that will accomplish that and only that. Okay. Any questions? Nah, I don't think you have any. All right, let me go on. Hold a second. Yeah, I just backtracking my notes here. Do not start to make a video before you're ready to make a video. Do not click that record button before you are prepared. Prepare yourself before you start doing any video recording. Except in the case if you're doing some assignment feedback for students. You may want to, consider the run through your notes and that kind of stuff. But when you're making a video, you have to go through your script and so on, and you gotta make sure your script kind of flows, that you're biting your tongue. And I'll talk to some of my little tricks that I've learned over the years, or I've developed over the years. So you wanna start when you're ready, and it takes a while to get it. That's part of your plan. That's part of your planning process. The best videos include visual assets, like what I put up. A lot of visual assets I used this evening, because I wasn't typing a lot of words on the screen, so I use a lot of visual assets, and they're very easy to find and they're free to use. That helps to keep your attention. I'm trying to keep your attention, and I want you to fall asleep like a lot of you do, and then I ready to end the session, you're not there. So keep the viewer's attention. Grab any other relevant resource you might need, such as images you want to include. And I know some people in video don't do a video within a video. I don't particularly like that. I don't think sound transfers very well a video inside a video. But yeah, you could try that if you want, if you have the skills for that. So what's the first step? We want to write a script. So we terminate the object message. So we don't scout a shooting location. We don't gather camera. We gather the equipment. We choose a writer script. Yeah. Okay. So that's not too bad. This was something I found, and it line up too bad. Write a script. As one of the assignments you had to do, assignment 5, it was the writer's video script. I must say some of the work that I got back was mind-blowing. Some was mind-blowing, and some was mind-numbing, and some was interesting. But you have to write a script. Thank you, Hugh, for turning up. Yeah, you have to write a script. There's nothing that ruins a video more than hesitation. You're umming, or you're ahhing, or you're umming, and you're trying to remember what to say or how to say it. You want to flow with your video, and you want to, the listener, the viewer must feel that confidence when they're listening to you. They must feel you're confident in what you're saying, you know what you're talking about, you're not guessing, you're not stumbling about the players. A script helps your video sound more professional and preserve your video's focus. So be professional. If you're writing a script writing is not notes. You may use notes if you're doing like a feedback video. I may have shared this with you some time back when I went back many years ago when I was open campus tutoring, and I had to do feedback for accounting. I taught accounting. We were correcting assignments. It's online, and for the life of me, I said there's nowhere on this planet I will sit down and type feedback for an accounting question where I have to mention debits and credits for 100 times to get them to understand what they did wrong. I said, no, I'm not doing that. So I found a way to get an audio done. I did the feedback by an audio I downloaded. Those days laptops didn't come with audio recording apps. I downloaded an app. I would create the assignment, and while the assignment is open in front of me, I open the app, I do a recording based on what they've done, tell them where they went wrong. And then I would save it with a name and then drop it in the Dropbox that sends it back to the student with the grade. And none of the other tutors, and there were nearly about almost 20 tutors in that course, nobody else was doing that. I guess they were typing all this stuff. How I know that? Because I had to go to the tech guy to ask him to expand the amount of megabits my box could deliver, my email could deliver back to the student, because there's a limited number and an audio recording takes a bit. He says, I'm the only person ever asked to expand mine. He said, you can expand mine because nobody else wanted it, because they wasn't doing audio. Everybody was typing. Text is not the only way to give feedback. You can use a video, you can use audio. But if you're doing educational video, an illustrative video, an explainer video, an instructional video, you want to have a script. A script is word for word, everything you intend to say. You got to sit down, take time to write it out before recording it, because you want to make sure you cover everything, and you don't want to what? Meander off into the jungle, off into the wilderness with unrelated topics. Yeah, like I do from time to time. I meander because this is kind of free flowing. But there's a script in front of me, but I'm not reading my script. I am using the script as reference in that kind of way. So what I put in the classroom for you is actually my presentation script. So you get exactly what I was talking about, and you'll say I've missed off some things because I am planning to keep you here all night. I say you want to start by outlining the points you want to make, and then write the full script based on that outline. Like when you write an essay. It gives you a chance to practice before record, and I normally do that when I'm doing videos. I practice to make sure that I don't bite my tongue. I practice to make sure that I can flow, my eyes will follow, and sometimes I have to adjust the size of the font of the script, because no one sees the script but me. Yeah, I adjust the size of the font, and I adjust the spacing. So right now my script has a 1.5 spacing, and right now, because I'm using my Microsoft Word, is at 120%. Those are some of the things I do in order to keep my script in front of me. I tend to use bullet points rather than paragraphs, because paragraphs are a little more troublesome. So I use bullet points as I go through. And I've even put in some more types of bullet points. Anyway, so you get to practice your script. I read my script through a couple of times, make sure again, my tongue ain't tying up. My tongue ain't sticking to the, cleaving to the roof of my mouth when I talk. I'm biting my tongue, I am stumbling on certain words. If you have to break up a word, you ever break up a word, put in dashes between it? You know that kind of way? Well, probably not, but if you have a difficult word and you're doing a video, you don't want to be stumbling over a word. So you want to probably break the word, and one way of doing that is to do the word in syllables and put dashes between the syllables so you can read your word carefully and not be stumbling, right? Yeah. So that is what scripting is about, and there are resources in the there are. I think so. If not, I'll make sure you have resources that will lead you in some of this area of how to write a script. Okay. You may want to consider storyboarding. Now, what's a storyboard? A storyboard is a graphic or a graphical representation of how your video will unfold, shot by shot. So if you're doing certain types, if you're out in the atmosphere doing a video out there, let's say it's Julie and Julie out in a fire, a little bush fire with her little trusty fire extinguisher. She may want to do a storyboard for that, but the first scene could be the camera gonna be here, and then we're gonna go here, then we're gonna show the label of the thing, and then we're gonna show the fire raging, then we're gonna show the smoke, we're gonna show people falling down. Because I think Julie likes kind of, she's a very dramatic person, just from talking, but I can tell she's very dramatic.
Thank you, Nigel.
And I think she may have missed her calling being a teacher, but I think drama was her first love. But I guess she will, you see, there you go, see? And she'll have the kind of burnt up bodies. And so that's how a storyboard will kind of work for you. So it's like little squares you have there, and you kind of chart the course of the video. Now that's a different kind of video. We use a script, but we also use Screencast is about presentation. So we have things on the screen that kind of keeps us going along. So the storyboarding is not that critical for that kind of video, but for Julie's dramatic performances, yeah, you're gonna need that kind of video to know where the camera shot has to go, what you're looking at, what you're talking about. You can use a storyboard for a screencast and determine what you want to talk about in your screencast, what you need to present to the people. You may always interrupt me. Anybody can interrupt me.
You have just spoken about the classes that I teach second semester in terms of a program called SET. We do exactly everything that you would have said there. From the
You burn up your students?
to the storyboard, to the
Oh.
demonstration.
Sorry. So we are out of fire. It's not extinguished.
No, but I
Okay.
do not tell my students that everything out the fire.
Oh, so you talk very proper English. You're gonna extinguish the fire, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
yes,
We are
we
out
want
in
them-
it.
We
We're
want them to
extinguishing
use
it.
correct
Yeah.
terminology and language.
So let me ask a question. Is out in the fire not extinguishing the fire?
It is. Extinguish the fire
With the fire extinguisher?
with the fire, using a fire extinguisher.
Not even with. Using. Okay, thanks. I will not be joining that class. I will get in trouble. Anyhow. Oh, my mic was on. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so that's a little bit of storyboarding. It's an example of one for a course overview, the introduction screen, to be TBC, demonstrate the visual of NBC, current documents, showing a table and zoom and highlight. So this person is doing a storyboard for a course outline. Yeah, the narration, star dots, or wait. Is this a word or is this an error? Can you see this clearly? Standards for spray polyurethane foam. All right, I don't know. I'm not in what do you call its name? Supplier management. I don't know what supplier management. Yeah, it looks like a typo. Look at me, find a typo. A typo. Well. Okay, let me get back. I'm meandering. Julia has me meandering here. Yeah, the storyboard is not, you can do that, but for certain videos, and you can use it for even things like a course. You can do a storyboard as to what the shot's going to be. Yeah, I do storyboarding in a different kind of way. I'm going to show you when I finish. I'm going to show you my kind of storyboarding. Okay, now you can do what we call a voiceover. Everybody understands? Sorry, anybody doesn't understand what a voiceover is? Okay, so yeah, so nobody understands. No, everybody understands what a voiceover is. Oh, sorry. Okay, a voiceover is when you prepare or you record your voice prior to the video being recorded. So you can sit down in front of your screen, have your script, and use certain software to get the audio done without worrying about slides and flipping a slide and when to turn the slide and you forget you have a slide. You ever teach and you forget the slide to move? Like I have done a couple times this evening. Well, I shouldn't forget, but I forget. So you want a little more polish in your videos, so you do a voiceover first, you get your tone right, you record, you can stop, you pause, you go again, drink a little water like I'm doing right now to keep my mouth from drying up. And you do your voiceover. And then you come back, you start your slideshow, and you're videoing that, and you press play on your voice, on the audio, and the audio it voices over the screen presentation. So the two bits coming together. I find much easier to just do it one time into the recording, and yeah, I have done it and then have to stop because I've messed up on something and go back and do it again. But see, I'm not doing a half-hour video. My videos was 3, 4, 5. I know I've done 10 minutes, and I've done long videos. So you just have to sometimes keep going, or you stop and you do your edits. So before clicking record, make sure your screen, your computer screen, is clear of any personal information. Yeah, good or bad. You want to make sure you have a clean screen. You aren't seeing nothing on my screen, right? Right. You're not seeing anything behind there, anything popping up, anything distracting. There's nothing really you can see there. This is just the PowerPoint. So before you click record, look at your screen. Is there anything you don't want your audience to see? Yeah, you want to make sure you're clear that you move out of the way and you narrow the focus of your screencast. As I said, I use 2 monitors. So what you're watching there that says screencasting, that is monitor number 2, and that's all on that monitor. The monitor number 1 is where I have my script, and I can see the Meet. That's why I can see who come in Meet. The screen is split in 2. So one side of the screen has the Google Meet, the other side has my script. So the only thing on this side here is my PowerPoint. And I don't think you can see the dots along the PowerPoint. It may not know that thing will show. And also this is the screen that I'm recording for the video. So when you look at the video is not going to have your faces, your pictures, your logging in, your logging out. This is only going to be this alone because it's focused on that area. Because I think the switch on the meter, but I ain't bother with that. So I'm using my Screencast program, which I've been using since we started, to record the meeting, and that's what's happening here. It's recording the screen. So it's not. I didn't put it on the Meet because you don't want to see the Meet. You want to see the PowerPoint. Right. So you want to include your files. You may have file names. So you have to clear your screen and make sure everything's good. Open your software, the application you're going to use. My preference, you're going to have to use your PowerPoint, and you want to use your recorder. My preferred recorder is Screencast or Matic. I promote that for all you. They don't pay me to promote it, but I promote Screencast because I've used it for a number of years, and I find it simple to use. I haven't used all of it, I must tell you that. But it's a great little app to use. For something that is free, it works very, very well. And you can check the quality of the recordings you've done. You want to edit your video. Now, Screencast has an editing application. Focus on the word free here for me. These are the things that come with the free version of Screencast. Oh my. Keep looking for that word free. Keep looking for free. Those are the editing tools available, all free, at Screencast for 15 minutes. And my experience is if you use the Android version, they don't put a time limit on the Android version at all. Plenty free stuff you get to do in terms of editing and so on. Right. So when you're done that, you want to be able to share your video. You've edited your video, you want to share your video. Now, videos takes up a lot of space on your hard drive. And you want to make your video available to your students. I make my videos available. If you look at all my videos, you recognize my videos are on YouTube. So you can save it to I recommend you save it to your local hard drive first, and then you want to put it on your channel. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we can get into that some other time in the future when we're doing smaller groups. I can show you how to set up a channel, how to use it, how to host a video. Now YouTube, you can host a video, you don't have to pay. You host the videos on YouTube. So even if your computer is off, it's not on a drive or anything, so you don't use a drive link. You actually use YouTube to host your video, and students are able to access it from YouTube. You can use Dropbox, you use the drives. Screencast does offer you some storage space, a couple of gigabytes to host videos for you. I've never used it. I mean, it's like you're on a cruise paying for all the lunch food you keep eating biscuits. I've never used everything I've paid for, but it doesn't cost me a whole lot, about $50 US a year. That's a fantastic deal. The last section here is how to make your educational videos accessible. This is going to lead us into something that's going to do later on, maybe not this semester coming in, it's called UDL, Universal Design for Learning. But you want to make your videos somewhat accessible. So you want to make it available to people who have some difficulties, who have some challenges. Not everybody could handle a video the way everybody, they always work normally. And if you make stuff accessible, it makes it better for everybody. You have recognized well, not you young people, the older people, well, I'm probably the oldest person around here. The older ones of us, you remember the days when every building had only steps? You remember those days? Or every sidewalk was only a drain, you had to kind of leap over the drain or step up high on a sidewalk. Remember those days? Now you could go to a building and there's a ramp going up the building, or they've maybe the sidewalk has a depressed area like a little, ramp like. Ramps and buildings and so on is because they try to make it accessible. We call wheelchair accessible, and those are ramps are for. But it's not only for wheelchairs, right? It's for people who have difficulty climbing steps. So trying to make buildings and machinery and equipment accessible. That's the phrase we're looking at, accessible for people with challenges or disabilities. Makes it accessible to everybody. You ever walked up the ramp rather than walking up the steps to go somewhere? Has that happened to anybody? Do you use that? Use the ramp rather than the steps? When you come in the east wing and you park your car in the east wing at Cipriani, how many you go up the ramp rather than go to the steps over the door? Anybody does it like me? I go up the ramp. You park and you go up the ramp rather than walking the steps.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I
So
I did that.
yeah. So when something's accessible for a certain group of people, it's already accessible to everybody. Yeah. And that's what UDL is all about, and we get the UDL as we go along in our journey together. Yeah, and you add captions at the bottom. You can add captions. You can do transcripts. So you get the video from me from this session. You will get the transcript, which will be, my script, so you can read on your own. I've tried captions, the first video, but geez, it will take me a year to get that figured out, to get it fixed. The language had a match. There's just so much. I said no, I couldn't do it. Most videos I've done, I use captions at the bottom. If you want an example I'm talking about, go into the classroom, the SET-22 classroom, go to the course overview, and look at that section, the course overview forum. You're going to see a video in there. Look at the video. You're going to see captions that follow what I'm saying, so somebody can read. If they want to if you want to turn off the volume, the sound, because you may be at work and you want to let everybody know you're listening to something, you have your earphones on, you want to read what I've said, you can read at the bottom. Watch the slides and I'm talking. So I have the captions in there. For those, to make it less boring, I have music playing. I also give you the script is also in there. And I believe there's an audio version of the script as well, which I believe is one of those free programs. I go online, I get a free text to audio recording, and I think I use a guy's voice. I can't remember what guy's voice I use. And so I give you an example of accessibility. The video has captions. It is a script for those who don't want to watch a video. There's also an audio version of the same content. Yeah, and that's what you're looking at. You want video, audio, text. And that's what you want to do in terms of accessibility. All right. And there's what they call audio description, which is where they're putting things at the side. And if you watch Netflix, if you have Netflix, and you're still allowed to borrow your brother Netflix or your cousin Netflix account before Netflix catch up with us in the Caribbean, as it's doing across the world, you can do the audio description, and it will tell you, it will have a kind of audio, and it tells you the bird singing, if a horse running, yeah. But that's a lot for us to do, but I think closed captions are great. If you're doing a YouTube video, you can also add captions. I do captions in Screencast-O-Matic, but I guess that's an American program. I'm a Trinidadian, so you gotta fix it, because it hears the words different. It hears the language different. So you have to do a little fixing on that, but it does a great job, Screencast. I fix it, and the captions are beautiful to work with. Yeah. But if you don't use it that way, you can click on closed captions, and YouTube tries to pick up what you're saying, but you realize sometimes your words are not always correct. And yeah. If you want to make a video transcript, audio description, yeah. Effective PowerPoints, all part of the Screencast family of activities. So you want to do PowerPoints. I don't want to get into a lot of this because PowerPoint is something we've been around. PowerPoint has become, it's been around for a number of years. It's one of the most used tools. PowerPoint wasn't designed for education. It was designed for business. And educators began using it many years ago, and therefore it is realized it's a market came about for PowerPoint. And PowerPoint is not considered as new technology in e-learning. It's considered very old technology. It's commonplace. It's so commonplace now. It's considered. What you want to do with PowerPoint, the basic purpose is to give Give us a way to present key ideas to the audience and visual support. I try not to fill up mine with text because it's not going to be reading just a couple of key phrases. It takes trial and error to get it right, and I'm not perfect in this area, but I try and keep trying to reduce even more visuals. I try to refine things that gives. I'm signing up for words. I try things that gives the message across to you without a lot of words. You want to keep your slides clean, clear, short, focused. You want to keep your audience with you. So, effective for PowerPoint, your backgrounds and so on. I can do a lot of white. I'm not using white. I'm using my color not even here. A kind of navy, kind of deep purple. Can't see my color in here. So they give us a nice little matchup. This is in their document, so don't worry. You get to have a look at this, the little backgrounds, whether it's poor, whether it's good, what matches well. So it's a good little guide to follow. They say background colors have certain meaning. This is one of my favorite colors. Yeah, you can see that a lot of my work. Royalty, luxury. Yeah, of course, that could be me. Royalty there, king, yeah, definitely. This is my color. And blue, but I don't like this blue kind of fade either. Yeah, so this gives you a sense of what they say colors represent. I don't know, but I guess. This was gray is authority, maturity. I just found gray dull, but anyways, authority, maturity, security, stability. So they say the color gives off a vibe or means something. So you take it. Color, good, yeah, bad. So you get a sense of what good. Sometimes it's tougher to decide what you want to use. And we come to our final session, final topic. Creating podcast audios. And creating podcast. And they're audio recordings. You know what a podcast is? Podcast has been around for a while. Podcast is where we did distance education many years ago. There was a time when distance education was done via a record player. A record will come in the mail to you and you use a record player to play back. That was the only recording device that was available, a record player. So that's how they started with distance education. Record players, and you play a record and you listen to your lesson over the record. That's how distance education started. That's how it began. Now, a podcast you can encourage your students to use it. It's a great audio recording. A great audio recording is used for brainstorming. So I do that quite a bit in my activities. Students who struggle to write their work, you can encourage them to take up their smartphones. All smartphones come with an audio recorder, audio app, I believe. And you can encourage them to talk about what they want to do, what they want to write about, rather than be in front of a computer on a paper and pencil writing down what you want to do. So it's good for brainstorming, and I've used it a lot over the last 2.5 years in my studies. I've used it quite a bit. When I had an assignment to do, I would pick up my phone and begin talking the assignment, making pointers, making reminders to myself. So sometimes it's more comfortable to sit in a chair and begin an assignment than to sit down at a desk with a computer and a keyboard, and you're typing and you're making mistakes. You're typing, you worry about spelling, So use a recording, that helps. Brainstorming. Another thing I began using is that I began using Google Docs on my phone or Google Docs on my tablet, because when you do a recording, I have to turn around now and transcribe the recording. I started using Google Docs as, do an audio, but you're also audioing and recording what you're saying. But Google is American, I'm a Trini. I don't speak the Queen's English very good or the American people English very good. So if I ain't careful, if I look around what I'm doing, Docs typing one thing and I say something different. And by the time I get back, I say, what did I try to say here? I can't remember. Yeah. So, but you can use an audio file for brainstorming. You record an audio, you listen to what you have to say. Audio don't make no mistake. What you say is what you're going to hear yourself say. You can use audio recordings for simplifying things. If you get an email, let me say in the middle of the week, a couple of students say, "Sir, ma'am, I don't understand this. I'm really struggling." And you realize a couple of students struggling. You say, "You know what? Let me do a quick audio here." So you grab your phone, you maybe make some notes. You grab your phone and say, "Okay, I'm going to send an audio file out, a podcast out, that kind of podcast audio where we're discussing the item with the student so they can understand, because you realize there's a sticking point. They call it muddiest point. So those are those interactions you have with your students during the week, a couple of emails or little comments you're getting. You say there's a muddy point here. There's a muddy point. Or maybe you can request from your students at the end of a lecture, is there a muddy point here? The muddiest point is where, you never see a jeep stick in the mud. The muddiest part is where the people can't move, it's stuck there. So you can probably just do a quick audio to help your students get through the muddiest part of a lecture, of a concept, of an understanding. You can use it for, when I say complex ideas, clarifying. It's a quick way. There are no slides involved. It's just you in your little notes and you talking through the problem. It's a very quick way of doing it. You can do it for assignments as well. You may have written the assessment instructions, but students asking questions and say, "Well, maybe I didn't write this as clear as I think." Sometimes I think I write things fairly clear. But sometimes when I see what people do, I said, did I say to do this? Was this what okay. So therefore you may have to just pick up your phone again and say, "You know what, guys, here what? You all are asking some questions about ABC, part 1. This is what I meant by this, what I expect you to do." And you find something much easier to talk through what you expect in an assignment than sit down and type it. And it's faster. And you can put that in the classroom, and the students have access to get the email that you send them an audio, and they can listen when they get it ready to just send. Explain that. As I said, I use it to do feedback. I use feedback. I use my recording to provide feedback on assignments per student, and that's something you may want to consider to do and use an audio for, because your voice, your voice does something to a student. I mean, if you're a person that's gruff speaking, the student may feel chastised by the feedback. So you want to be careful. You use your tone of voice, but you're giving audio feedback. I think I mentioned that I don't know if I mentioned, I can't remember where I talked to so many people. I started using audio to do tutorials because that was many years ago, many donkey years ago. I was doing it, my online students at the campus. They were all over the Caribbean, and I wanted to, again, I didn't want to type out explanation. I wanted to explain to them. So there was a question they had to do every week, and I would provide them with, not feedback so much, I would provide them with, well, I didn't worry the feedback. I figure if I tell you, explain to you how the question was supposed to be done, you can figure out what you've done wrong from what I've said to you. So that was back in days when technology wasn't as great. So YouTube only handles video. So what I did, I made a video recording using YouTube, but I took some blue tape to painter's tape and covered my camera. And lo and behold, I ended up with a blue screen because it's blue tape, painter's tape. I use painter's tape because that doesn't stick like masking tape and mashed up, sticky up my camera. And I talked with students through it, and I created a video. I didn't know how to do Screencast and how to get this on. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't have that kind of technology. Those are days when YouTube provide you with and you can still do a recording from YouTube. You can create content on YouTube. You don't need Screencast or Matic. You can use it. If you go on your channel, you will see create or upload a video. Yeah, we'll do that in smaller groups. Right, so you can do that and provide feedback and anything else you want to provide students. I find it's a useful means. The script can be, you can do an audio using a script as well. If you want to do it in audio as well, you can do a script as well. So if you prepared a voiceover, The voiceover could be that audio you put in the along with the video. There's an audio for those who can't see too well and doesn't want to watch a screen for a long time. I know people like that. They can just get through their work, but they don't want to spend excessive amounts of time watching a computer screen. They watch a video, so you can give an audio, and you can use a script to provide that. And there's software online. You can go and get some free software where you can put up your text, and they will read the text for you. It's not only the best, but you get it through it. Yeah. Tips for smartphone: get closer to your phone. Distance is a problem on a smartphone. If you're far away from your phone, the mic is going to pick up everything. You want good, clear, clean audio. Bring your smartphone closer, or you can probably use the earpiece for the microphone. The built-in mics in the stuff you can use that too. I see a lot of people use that, and they kind of hold it to their mouth like a microphone. I've seen them on videos doing that. That helps. You want to reduce distortion, so you don't want to be too loud. You don't want the mic too far, but you can't put the mic down inside your throat. You understand what I mean by that, right? It can't be up in your mouth, because you get a kind of distortion, like a fuzzy box effect. You know what I'm talking about? And sometimes it can be inaudible. You can't understand, so it's almost like a mouse speaking. And remember that smartphones tend to pick up the higher range. That's why you have to. Smartphone picks up things you won't think it picks up. So it picks up the higher range of sound. It won't pick up a bass guitar, but hit a cymbal and it will pick up the cymbal, but not the bass guitar. Okay? It works on the higher ranges. So you want to keep your voice fairly high up there when you're doing an audio, because you want to be clear and not down inside your throat when you're doing audio record. Yeah. So another thing, you want to put your phone on airplane mode, so you don't have the mess up of recording and with messages coming through, a telephone call ringing, things like that. So you put your smartphone down close to your nice soft surface. You don't be knocking the table and the phone vibrating and so on. You want to make sure it's kind of angled upwards. So you can use a stand if you want to, and put the microphone up in the air like a phone stand, and you can angle it towards you. Do a couple of test recordings to make sure your voice is good. You can use an external mic if you want to. You can use your laptop and buy one of those USB mics. Right now I'm using a headset that comes with a microphone. I bought before the pre-pandemic, yes. A headset microphone set is what gamers will use to play games. So that's what I use to do my recording, because my voice is really right. The microphone is side long and okay. And I don't depend on the microphone from the laptop, because that is not the best quality. It's a fairly good quality. Well, it was like only $199 at Radio Shack at Court, but it ain't that price no more, trust me. So now this helps get your voice right inside there. And so you record. Importantly, when you finish recording, remember to name the recording. That's one thing that I remember to do every time I did a feedback for a student. I'm correcting paper after paper on screen. These are not physical, these are on-screen papers. And as I done, I would put the person's name in the recording so you don't forget. Yeah, so you want to name the recording because it makes it easy to locate. And give it one time you name, your students will recognize. Assessment 1, explanation. So they can recognize that in the audio file what it is. And username that the students will see and would recognize. And that, you have some references. You go through references. Some of the work is in there. Have a look at what you think. That's it for tonight. I've finished my presentation, but we're not finished. So any questions before I stop the recording? I have an agenda here, so any questions? Going once, going twice, going twice. No, okay, everything was perfect. Everybody understands. I'll pat myself on the back and feel very good and sleep well tonight.